Welcome into Dave Campbell's Texas Football Instant Recaps here at the UIL State Championships in Arlington at AT&T Stadium. I'm Max Thompson. That's Matt Stepp. We just watched the 3A Division II State Championship game between Newton and Gunter, and Newton with a resounding 40-16 win. I don't know if I thought a blowout was possible in this game, Matt. I gave Newton the edge. I picked Newton. I think you picked Newton.
Yeah, I did.
Just thought that speed might be a bit too much. It was a bit too much.
Yeah, for 3 quarters, the game kind of went the way we thought it was going to go. Newton led 20-16. It was kind of a back and forth, nip and tuck game. Yeah. And then Newton just hit another gear in the fourth quarter, and Gunter just had no answer for it. Outscored Gunter 20-0 in the fourth quarter and turned the game into a rout. And the last half of the fourth quarter was more of a coronation, so to speak, of Newton.
I think in a lot of ways, I think it just shows how physical the first 3 quarters were. Both teams are probably pretty tired in the fourth, but that extra gear, that speed probably makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the final numbers, and Newton really dominated the game. And they had over 500 yards of offense. Gunter was less than 200. But turnovers kind of kept Gunter in the game. Turnovers and mistakes. Newton had a couple of untimely penalties in the third quarter that prevented scoring drives, an interception. But in the fourth quarter, Newton kind of got it together, and then the big plays came in bunches, and Gunter just had no answers. Really, the Newton defense, I thought, unsung heroes. I mean, you're going to talk about the big 3 on offense with Brown, Barlow, and Williams, but I thought the Newton defense was unreal tonight.
And it's unreal because we'll beat it to death and we'll continue to beat it to death, but the Gunter offense is unique. It's difficult to plan for. It's hard to stop. The kids play hard. Yeah. It's hard, and I'm sure it's got to be really tricky to simulate in practice with just 1 week to go, and they did a great job.
Yeah, Newton's speed, I thought, especially up front on the defensive line. Gunter's offensive linemen really had trouble sustaining blocks on the Newton defensive linemen, and then linebackers like Corbin Foster really floated the ball well, made plays, and really, when they arrived at the ball, with some big tackles and big hits, and I think they just kind of wore Gunter down as the game went along.
Let's talk about those 3 stars, because boy, did they put on a show. Noah Williams is like a meme now. He's just an internet celebrity.
He's a favorite of our own Ishmael Johnson.
Yeah.
He was sensational and really gave Newton that deep threat because Gunter was kind of rolling coverage on Brown and not letting him beat them deep, and then Williams was taking advantage of that single coverage and making them pay. Yeah,
and by doing that, the game ended up opening up a little bit more. I think that's when those guys like Brown and Darwin could just break free.
Yeah. Barlow, he had a lot of dirty yards today. He was kind of
scrapping it along.
Scrapping for those extra 3 or 4 yards at a time. I don't think the final numbers will reflect the kind of game he had, but he was really effective on some of those inside runs. Gunter's really tough along the defensive line, and Barlow had to get yards after contact a lot of the time, but he was falling forward. You could see he was turning those plays that would have been 2nd and 8 into 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, and putting Newton in favorable down and distance.
Really happy for Newton, but you have to say really, really, really happy for Coach W.T. Johnston and everything he's been through. And you could see the relief and the excitement on him and his face when he dropped to his knees at the end of the game. Couldn't be happier for the guy. I mean, what does it mean to you just to see that happen?
It's awesome. I mean, we saw a great story last game with Rockdale, and then Coach Johnston. If you don't know his story, I highly recommend going to read Chandler Vessel's article on ETSN. Coach Johnston has a very rare disease. He lives every day by day. He's kind of a miracle. He's the only one that survived more than a couple of months with the illness that he has. And he takes it day by day, and he's really a man of integrity and faith, and he kind of leans on that a little bit. And I think that's a reflection of his kids. His kids play really hard for him, and it's just an awesome thing for him and his family and the community to get to celebrate this.
Yeah, and the last time we saw him here, he was still carting around his oxygen tank. To see him without it, and on this stage to really be able to enjoy it, well, there's nothing better. I mean,
no, it's a great human story, not just a football story. It's a great human story, and something that I'm really privileged to see. And the community of Newton, it's a long trip up. They had some effects from Harvey as well. Missed a couple of games. They had some damage as well. So see the community out here vibrant and strong and celebrating their youth and their young men and all their students is really awesome.
It's been amazing, and the bar has been set ridiculously high.
Carthage, Kennedale, you're on the clock.
Yeah, it's unfair to ask for any of the games from here to be exciting, but we'll keep our fingers crossed anyway.
We won't be mad if there's more exciting games.
We will not be mad, but we would be spoiled beyond belief. But in the meantime, Newton, your 3A Division II state champs, 40-16 over Gunter, a huge resounding win. We'll see you tomorrow.